Hello and welcome to The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Rakhee, Bakshee. In this show, as you know, that we keep bringing you leading personalities, faces which you want to see, and through them, we understand what's happening around us in our society. Through them, we also listen to their stories, the vision and views that they have, because they're personalities which have to offer so much more. And now also a very special guest with us on Rajya Sabha TV. He's somebody who's in the government of India, a minister of state for home affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju. I welcome him on The Quest on my show. So tell me, of course, the first question very specifically would be about 2 years being spent and how. How do you think the governance, which is the model was maximum governance and minimum government, how much do you think that has really happened on the ground?
Actually, the level of satisfaction for each minister will never be to the extent one would like to be, because we want to do more. Of course, in last 2 years, what we have done is before the people, because it's so transparent, so visible, and the government is very animated. Government is doing something on the ground. Things are happening. We started not in a very good situation, because economy was down, the security situation was bad, people were very dissatisfied with everything going around. So from that very dismal performance of a government, we took the metal.
How much actually have you walked the talk? I mean, in the sense that, promises, schemes, a lot of things that you're offering in terms of doing things for the people.
Yeah, that's what I want to say, that 2 years is not a period for accomplishment, but 2 years is a period where you have started things and results are started showing in every sector. If you see the indicators of every sector, it is showing positive.
I would say, as a minister, you are really sitting on hot seat, especially the ministry that the profile that you have, and beginning with a very interesting issue is of Pakistan, and a very crucial one also. How would you really look at the relationship going ahead? I mean, today as we talk, and you know that the news is that red corner notice has been issued to Masood Azhar.
See, Pakistan is our neighbor, and India has to deal with Pakistan whether we like it or not. That's the reality. And beyond that, it is the initiative of the both the states, in fact, to take the relation forward. I think that our Prime Minister has begun with inviting the Pakistani Prime Minister in the swearing-in ceremony itself. And he honestly started. If Pakistan is unable to reciprocate in a manner which we would like to, that is their problem.
Let's talk about Pathankot, a very unfortunate.
So that is a problem in the relationship, but I don't want to dwell into the policy matter, because it's in the domain of the Minister of External Affairs. So I just see from security point of view that we are standing up to the challenges. We did face problem, but if you see the infiltration,
because Pathankot was a setback, I want to emphasize.
Setback because of the situation, when India was trying all its best effort to normalize and bring the relation at a different level, and that time the Pathankot incident happened. So definitely.
What is the follow-up in terms of really taking the correct steps? I mean, in fact, the team came here, and I think that also kind of backfired when.
No, it did not. I think some sections of the media miscovered the whole show. Actually, the joint investigation team came, and our NIA, gave all dossier support materials. Everything was provided to them, and they are very happy. They are satisfied in the sense. They got.
Did we give them entry to an extent we wouldn't have, and we shouldn't have, maybe?
If they are saying that they are ready to cooperate in the investigation, we should take it in a positive note. And now it is our turn to go and take the things forward. But some media shown that the Pakistani team are saying that the materials being provided were not enough and all. These were not official statements. Some mischievous publication somewhere, and it was circulated. It's not that. When things are going on, we should not pass judgment. And we have asked them, they are yet to give the date of our.
So do you think this red corner notice to Masood Azhar, how would you really look at this particular?
No, Pakistan is acting, that means. And the international body, the Interpol, they all are understanding the issues and the concerns raised by India. So definitely it's a positive thing.
Okay, coming on to China, of course, where do we stand there? Because again, that's another country that we have to look at, and also we have to look at it very diplomatically.
See, China is today a global giant, and India is also an emerging power. We are two largest countries in Asia, and we are neighbors. We had some difficulties in the past, but there's no occasion where we did not try our best to
I think you're the
improve
best person to also answer, because you are from Arunachal, and the border issues are very much disturbing at times.
In last 2 years, the tranquility along the international borders with China has been smooth and peaceful. The maintenance from both sides, the restraints, or what you can say, confidence level of both the teams or the troops deployed along the border.
Are there some ongoing meetings and some exchanges which are going on?
The exchanges of flags and all, confidence building steps are being taken regularly, and there is no such worrying incident on the ground.
One bill that I'm sure you've been answering that question also of mapping, geospatial, which is called. How are you really looking at it? I mean, does that kind of disturb you, the kind of feedback maybe that you're getting about it?
Actually, people have misread the intention of the bill. There's a committee of secretaries had sat and drafted the bill, and of course, it is in the domain of the Home Ministry.
Why do you think the idea originated of having a bill
India
like this?
doesn't have any rules or laws with related to space images, mappings and geospatial images, whatever is in the country. It is not regulated yet. India is an emerging country. We must have certain laws to handle any situation related to the space images and mappings and all. Now, this should not be construed as our effort to check or restrict people's, I think
effort. That's what is the impression, how you're dealing with it.
Because this is just at the draft stage. We have placed before the public. We are inviting the opinions and the comments. So, our request to the people who are criticizing the bill is, don't criticize at this stage, rather give positive suggestions. That is why we have put it online before the public. So
I know that you've answered it, but some people said that certain companies that you're looking at, and that's why maybe Google and all these other companies.
It is not Google specific, nor any company specific, nor any region specific. It is security concern specific. And trust me, we are not going to create any kind of obstacle, hurdle for any business houses or any institution or anybody who is involved in deep research. Rather, it will facilitate.
Talking about terrorism, especially across borders, especially South Asia, is there something that is on the anvil? Look at, for example, in the Northeast, we know that there are certain pockets in some other neighboring countries where we are looking at. I mean, is there something, for example, Myanmar's case comes, or some other border countries? Are you looking at that, especially from the Northeastern point of view?
Northeast is getting the due attention from the government of India. It was craving for attention earlier.
Do you think it is?
Yeah, it is getting due, kind of attention from us, from the Prime Minister particularly, beginning from shifting of Look East policy into Act East policy, because the earlier Look East was without action.
Yeah, now it's
Act East policy. And then our relation with the neighboring countries, especially if we look at the Northeast, then our relation with Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan and China has to be robust. It's happening. And if you see in the terms of infrastructure growth, power sector, road sector, it's really empowering Northeast. And in next 3 to 4 years time,
you seem to be almost thrilled. Is it really the truth that things are happening?
Because it's happening. I have personally inaugurated so many roads, which is unimaginable. When I was opposition MP 10 years to 12 years back, we used to urge the government do something, and I'm happy that I'm part of the government and we are doing so much. But still, I'm saying that we have to do more. This is just the beginning. And Northeast, you just Remember, it is a 45 million big region. Because India's population is big, that's why compared to the total population, it looks
But that's
small.
why there are development issues, and there are issues related either to inside terror, sometimes those fights, or sometimes terrorism in general also.
It has come down. Manipur situation is still volatile, but we have been able to maintain it. Assam now absolutely trouble-free, barring few incidents here and there. Tripura has already withdrawn the Armed Forces Special Powers Act after 20 years. And Nagaland,
So you're doing it in Northeast, why not at the center?
no, we are doing it. It's because of our effort. Of course, we need the complementary
Like, for
role
example,
with the state
Kashmir.
government.
I mean, and I think you've talked about it also.
Yeah, Kashmir is because, the situation demands it. We have to act as per the demand.
So what's happening in Kashmir, for example?
Kashmir is improving, and there's a government who is taking care of the all the necessary steps being initiated by this government, and I'm hoping that things will improve further.
We'll have to take a small break out here, but we are not going to leave you with many more questions to ask you. That's after a very short break. Here on the Quest on Rajya Sabha TV, you're watching this conversation with Mr. Kiren Rijiju. He's the Minister of State for Home Affairs, and we have many important questions to ask him, so don't go away. Welcome back to the show on the Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching this very special interview with Minister of State for Home Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju. We are asking him about the country and many issues, of course, that he has to handle and he has to answer also on this show. On black money, I think there's much talk, but can you also tell us what's happening?
I think our Prime Minister and the Finance Minister has already elaborated on the various steps initiated by the Government of India. It is not a one-day job. It's a series of steps being taken, and result will come. It will come definitely.
Okay, because related to money, I would say, are people, and one of the persons is Vijay Mallya, and we have seen what all is happening and how tough it is to bring him back. What do you think? Some mistakes have happened?
Whatever loans he had obtained, how he had faltered, everything had become, all this situation during UPS time. It is not creation of NDA government.
But he left the country and he could go, and finally it's a problem.
Before he is being charged, how can you stop the movement of a person? But now all the necessary steps are being initiated.
So, of course, I would say that, corruption is one major issue that the government talked about. We have not seen, especially in the government, some big scale kind of thing happening. But how do you think one is dealing with it in terms of many multi-dimensional approach that the government is taking?
Definitely now, during UPA time, Congress time, we know how the government offices, the ministers' offices, the corridors of South Block, North Block were full of the middlemen, the brokers. They are all gone. In our time, it's clean. There is no middleman. There's no corruption happening at any policy level or at any official level. If something happens, they are caught immediately, like one of the junior officer in the Home Ministry. So
tell us about this case also.
Very particular. So we are trying to drive the government with a clean purpose, with a vision, and with good intention. At the same time, you can still appreciate us that this government is running cleanly, but we are still dealing with the UPA government's bad legacy of corruption. So 2 years before, we were talking about Congress corruption. Now 2 years down the order, we are still talking about Congress corruption.
And you're still really talking a lot about it. For example, in Parliament, let's say, you talked about Augusta.
Yeah.
I mean, in
because
terms of
they created such a mess.
No, but didn't you, and somebody as observer or critics would say that why the government is talking almost like opposition here, where they have to actually...
Because it was the act of the previous government.
Since you mentioned and one of your officers, so civil society, and that question actually arises also as to how you're dealing with it, because he was questioned for FCRA notices.
Yeah, what we found that in the month of January, this particular officer, he's an under secretary level officer, he was issuing some arbitrary, notices to the various NGOs and probably meeting some of them. When it came to the notice of the ministry, so he was put on surveillance and He was
So
removed.
you're leaving no stone unturned.
He was
so-
removed. He was shifted from foreigners division. He was within foreigners division. He was in FCRA that section.
Let's talk about internal security, and one of the, of course, main mandate, I would say, especially of the ministry, would be to create and maintain harmony. But look at some of the accusations or allegations, I would say, of this whole Hindu terror term which comes, or saffron terror. How are you really dealing with it?
Now, this was an artificial campaign launched by the Congress party, purely political. 2008, when Malegaon blast took place, they arrested few people. And one of the interest case I must cite before you, the ATS of Maharashtra arrested one person, and that person was putting back that framed under another two blasts. And Makoka, there's a provision that if person is involved in one and more cases where court has taken cognizance, then third cases he always will be booked under Makoka. I mean, that's the case.
That's the process.
So the person was booked and he was framed, and the entire investigation charge sheet was done in 12 hours. Is it possible? It takes months and months. The charge framed him within 12 hours. Then he was forced to name Sadhvi Pragya Thakur and Colonel Purohit and all. See how they messed up the investigating agencies. That is why later on the Supreme Court told that the duty of NIA is not only to prosecute but to bring facts before the court. So that is what.
So you're trying to really do justice to all this.
Obviously, the fact speaks for itself.
Okay.
So can you imagine that the whole process of investigation and charge sheet,
The timing,
was done in 12 hours?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Just to make him accused in Malegaon blast. True. And then to frame some of the people, because they wanted to show that some Hindu-minded people or some people like Sadhvi Pragya and like that, they were to be framed so that their slogan of Hindu terror is actually justified by action. So they first coined Hindu terror, saffron terror, and they started prosecuting people.
So, but then there is a challenge of, I would say again, to create and maintain harmony, and I repeat myself, which happens, let's say we see some cases in UP happening, sometimes some other cases happening, which disturbs the society. So, are you looking at it seriously?
Definitely, we have already stated that any incident which is potential to create this harmony in the society must be dealt with strongly. The fact that if that incident in Dadri or incident somewhere in Karnataka, the central government, Home Ministry cannot go and register the case. It is a state government who has to act it. But some people, they do not find any corruption cases against this government. So they had to find some discussion and debate. And they created intolerance, they created all this beef, all this
Do you think that was a time limited kind of thing? I mean, since you mentioned the word intolerance, it's not to be heard now, but do you think there was a timing to it?
No, because election is over again. They will not use that debate. In Delhi, just before Delhi government election, they were talking about the destruction of churches, attacks on churches.
Yeah.
But these incidents later on failed. When we met the Christian leaders, Home Minister also met, I also met, we said that every church must be protected. Why should some people attack church? And later on we found it's not like that.
Since you mentioned Delhi suddenly, in Delhi, Aam Aadmi Party government, of course, and some of the things they always say, and because I was talking to a leader who said police, and police is and Delhi statehood case again comes up. How do you look at it?
No, it is best that people like Kejriwal and company do not control police. These people are here not for governance. They are here to create just unnecessary tamasha all around.
Okay, so that's how you would look at Aam Aadmi Party, but a party which is actually making some inroads. Look at MCD elections. Look at Punjab.
That is political.
Yeah. So
that is political.
Okay. Okay. So let's look at some of the other issues about the whole review. You're halfway mark now. Look at the government, how it is performing. How would you really look at it? Of course, Prime Minister Modi keeps meeting you and all kinds of suggestions that he asks. I mean, any thought on that?
No, we are moving in right pace, and I'm sure that next 3 years will be amazing. It will start showing the results of what we are doing now.
No, but talk about what you've done till now also. That's what we're saying, because you're reviewing and you're saying, so how much marks, let's say, you'll give let's say to yourself?
I cannot, make self-assessment in terms of providing marks, but we are doing pretty good.
One question, because we just met the Women and Child Development Minister, and she said, talking about women's safety and security, especially talking about cyber security, is there a unit which should be more functional in home affairs?
We have many this crime tracking system being promoted. The CCTNS projects are going on. We are focused on the safety of the women and the children. So the system is working, but we need to do much more. I must accept that.
And how is the government functioning in terms of the coordination which should happen with everyone?
Coordination within the government is always there, and with the state governments also, as per the set norms, we are doing it. We have to cooperate with each other.
And women's safety, again, in general, because we keep asking the Delhi government what's happening, but that's something which is of concern. The second question also is about Naxalism, which is again a major issue, and how you tackle.
Naxal issue is being dealt effectively, and I can tell you that incidents have come down by 40%. It's a good achievement.
Is there any short mechanism, for example, look at some of the areas called red corridor, include some of the states?
It's there, but as I said, they are now confined to smaller areas. It's an ideological war. We have to reach out development to the people to tackle this menace of the Maoists. Development is the key. We have to reach out to the people, the tribals. They are neglected for so many long years.
So we were talking to you about some of the crucial issues, and one of the main issues that really is disturbing also is the rise of Naxalism, especially in certain states, as we call it, the red corridors zone. Is something happening in terms of government taking some strong steps on that?
In terms of dealing with the issue of Maoism, we are taking three-pronged strategies. One is development. See, the main concern of the tribal people is development has not reached to the areas where they live. And taking advantage of that, the Maoists have created rebels. So we are reaching out to the people by making special programs of development. That's a focus. Then second is the security related issues, where we need to really secure the local people and enhance our security capabilities to deal with them. And the third is the perception. That the Maoists have created an image that they are working in the interest of the local people. But it is an ideological warfare. They are working against the Indian state. So we have to manage the perception properly, so that the efforts of the government must reach out to the people, and the evil designs of the Maoists must also be exposed. So this is something we are doing, and it is very effectively doing. In Jharkhand, in last 1.5 years, there's maximum surrender of the Maoist cadres. In Chhattisgarh, it has come down. We have some issues in Bastar area. We have issue in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra in the eastern part, but we are able to contain it. Andhra Pradesh is minimum, Telangana minimum, and some pockets in Orissa and West Bengal, we have some problem, but more or less, it is the lowest point of the Maoist activities at this point of time. So that means we are successful.
And one question which I thought I should ask you is about this whole IS link. I mean, are we looking at, tracing all those linkages also somewhere?
With whom?
If there are at all, like we are looking at, even I read somewhere that, if there is any link here in India, somebody is masterminding, thinking something.
See, first of all, we don't want to paint the entire issue with the community. Of course, they have tried their best to recruit the youths in India. But our general Muslim population in India, they are, according to the Indian ethos, they are not encouraging the youths at all. That is work as a great effort for us. And then our agencies are also very, very mindful. So we are tracking them in all social media and all kind of internets and all. So that is the one of the major.
One interesting question relates also to whether there would be reservation for women in police.
We have started. So CRPF is the largest force, nearly 3 lakhs, and CISF. We have started the process of 33% reservation for women. which will be completed soon. We have started the process.
50% will take a long time.
See, first we have to cross 33. It's now not even 4%. It's small. The women presence in paramilitary forces is too small, and then we have started in BSF, ITBP, and SSB, and Assam Rifle also. We have started the women battalion. So there we have started 14 to 15%, recruitment for women. CISF, CRPF 33%, and in all the Union Territory Police, in Delhi, we have started to process 33% for women in the Delhi Police, and similarly in all the Union Territories, because we can't enforce the matter in the state police, but within the domain of the Government of India and Home Ministry, we are doing it. It's a great achievement.
Okay, so women's security you're really keenly looking at.
Personally, for me and for the government, the parameter of the development of the society must be seen from the safety and dignity of the woman. If woman dignity and honor is not being maintained, and if the safety measures of the woman is low, you cannot say the society is progressive. So that is how we relate, and this is a factual thing.
We really hope much needs to be done and that much actually is done. But finally, as I wrap this show, and it's been interesting talking to you, the quest of yours, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, what would you like to look at, your roadmap, your dream, and a chart that you set for yourself?
I have too many things to do, and beyond my capacity as a minister in the Home Affairs, I am involved in so many things. Of course, as a minister, we are concerned and we are also accountable for whatever the government is doing in whatever subjects. But I have specialized interest in many fields. I have seen the world. I have traveled 154 countries, which no other Indians have traveled on record. I want to replicate many good things in our society, and I want to send off the good things India has done for the world to see. Society must progress, and India is a very dynamic country. India is turning out to be a land of opportunities, not only for us, but for the global community. So Prime Minister is driving this dream which I see, and I am very lucky to work with such a dynamic Prime Minister. And this is the moment for India. We have lost the opportunities in the past, but we are grabbing the opportunity now. And I think with this government, with a very, very appropriate Prime Minister at the right time, India is moving toward attaining as a global power.
We'll definitely continue to watch that, and we'll look at what's happening also in the future. But thanks a lot for talking to us here on Rajya Sabha TV and also sparing your time here. And that was MOS Home Affairs, Mr. Kiren Rijiju, talking to us on a range of issues, and I hope that you've really looked at that and taken note of that. Thank you so much for watching this particular episode of The Quest on Rajya Sabha TV. Thank you once again. Namaskar and bye-bye.